start with the simplest case. Usually you have an abbreviated word, a part of which is seen on the stone, and another part is not seen on the stone, but usually we give it surrounded by angle brackets with round brackets in the addition. So we have the whole word Augustus, which is expanded in our edition, and we have the abbreviated part which is present in the stone, and we have the Ustus part which is missing from the stone. So we have three elements. Here, the main element is expand. This is the whole thing. One daughter element, one sub-element is Abbr, which is the actual abbreviation which stands on the stone. The other part is Ustus, which does not stand on the stone, but we want to include in our edition in round brackets. As you know, here probably we should open a bracket that in many epigraphic documents, we can have two kinds of rendering of the text. One is the diplomatic edition, which presents simply what is on the stone. And the other one is the editorial text, which is with all the additions, corrections, resolving of abbreviatures as here. And for the documents in Epidoc XML, when you put them through a visualization scenario, it usually forks into two different versions of the text, the diplomatic and the editorial ones. The diplomatic is usually in scriptio continua and only in capital letters, because this is what the letters on the stones originally looked like, and with only the abbreviated part of the abbreviations standing on the present in the text, which means that of this expand, Abbr, and X elements, in the diplomatic edition, only the Abbr element and its content is visualized. And as we saw, the presence of space is significant, so don't put space in between the abbreviated part and the resolved part of the abbreviation. That is to say, between the Abbr and the X elements, in order for it to be correctly presented. So the editorial rendering of this text will be Augustus with Ustus in round brackets, but in the diplomatic edition, only the Aug part, which is the part of the word which is actually present on the physical monument, is seen. Unexpanded abbreviation, you only have the Abbr, and the editorial text says that, okay, this is an abbreviation, but we don't know how to expand it. So here in the round bracket, you have sui generis lacuna, you have dashes, and in the diplomatic edition, you simply have what is on the stone without any explanations whatsoever. But specifically in the Latin inscriptions, we have rather complex cases when you have two letters. The last letter of the abbreviation is duplicated to indicate the plural form. For example, Aug with two Gs, two Gs may signify Augusti, for example, Augusti Duo or simply Augusti. You should have slightly more sub-elements for encoding this. Let us see. We have the abbreviated form, which is Aug, you have the expansion, which is Augusti Duo. You have Usti Duo, which is in your editorial text surrounded by round brackets, but you have an additional G which shows physically on the stone, but which you want to suppress when you resolve the abbreviation. And this additional G is encoded with AM, which I forgot what it stands for, but it does the following job. So you have Auge, you have a second G encoded with as Am, and this O is encompassed by the element Abr, abbreviation. And then you have the part which is the real expansion and which is presented in the editorial text in round brackets surrounded by the X tags. This additional letter is something that if you encode it like this, it will not show in the resolution of the abbreviation in the editorial text, but it will show in the diplomatic text, which represents exactly what is given on your physical monument. So if you encode this in this way, in the diplomatic text, you will have the whole AUG thing plus the additional G, which stands for plural, and the editorial text, this additional G will be suppressed. It will not be seen. Non-sequential abbreviation, when you have different parts of the words which are present on the stone, but you have some parts of the words which are omitted and need to be resolved. So all the parts which need to be put in round brackets are encompassed in X. So in Abre, you encompass everything that is physically present on the stone. So the ko part of the word consul and the s part of the word consul, and everything which is actually an expansion of this abbreviation, you put into the X. Just as in the case with the simple abbreviation Augustus, but with slightly more sub-elements, because your abbreviation is non-consequential, you have different part of the words that you want to expand. So in your editorial or interpretive, as it is also called edition, you have consul with the letters N and the ending U, which are encompassed in round brackets, which shows that this is an abbreviation resolved, but only cos, which stands in the diplomatic edition. If you have an abbreviation for a full word, as sometimes with this sign, which pretty much resembles the Latin L, and which stands for indicating the year. And you want to have the etus in genitive for time in your edition. So the abbreviation, which is actually this sign, the expansion of the abbreviation is etus, and for this you use the tag in the abbreviation parent element, because you want to show this, just as with the Augusti Duo, you want to show this in your diplomatic, but not in your interpretive edition. Your interpretive edition will have the word etus encompassed by round brackets, because this is an expanded abbreviation of a whole word, and in the diplomatic text you will see this sign, which will not show at all in your editorial text or in your interpretive edition. Yes, if you ignore the symbols that you are used, you can simply use the expand. But Probably you would also want to include the original sign, if possible, technically, for which case you will also want to add the abbr and daughter element am in it. But if you don't want to use this at all, you simply use the expand and then x. And you have only the interpretive edition ethos in square bracket. In the diplomatic edition, you have nothing to display. Maybe this will be the case, and you would want to use this if you have some symbols which will be technically very hard to display on the screen, and you don't want to display them in your diplomatic text. It is impossible. There are no Unicode symbols that would display them. But for this purpose, then again, you can link images, and you can give a very thorough commentary on the hand that has written and its paleographic peculiarities.